Happy Friday, guys. Nice to have you with me. All right, 45 minutes Pilates. As always, go by how your body's feeling. If there's anything that isn't feeling great for you at any particular time, I am going to do my best to try to give a couple of modifications, a couple of progressions. But if something doesn't feel right, absolutely don't do it. I'll be able to stick around for a couple minutes after class and answer any questions that you guys have, or I'll do my best to answer any questions or at least point you in the right direction. But let me start my timer and then we'll get moving. We'll start standing on our mats today. Back up, make sure I don't hit anything on my way back. All right, let's stand up nice and tall on our mats. We're going to get our feet a little bit wider apart than our shoulders. And let's point those toes out to the sides just slightly. We're going to press our big toes, press our pinky toes, and press those heels into the floor. And I want you to just take a few deep breaths here and just feel where you are right now. Inhale and exhale. And with every breath out, see if you can kind of let yourself settle a little bit further down into the ground, as if you were a little tree planting some roots down into your supporting surface. We're thinking about the crown of the head coming up toward the ceiling. We're thinking about settling those feet and settling plumb lines from those sit bones all the way down into your supporting surface, your mat, your carpet, your floor, wherever you happen to be right now. Let's soften up our knees. Again, sinking those tailbones down, counteracting that by drawing that crown of the head up toward the ceiling. So we're going to picture a little space between each segment of our spine. We're going to picture the rib cage lifting up off the pelvis. We're going to picture the head, neck, and shoulders lifting up off of that rib cage. Arms are down by the sides, and let's take some nice big shoulder circles backwards. It's okay if there's some crunches going on. Ears. Shoulders come back to the wall. Shoulders come down by our sides. Let's roll them out in circles for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's draw the belly and the spine gently toward each other, like we're tightening a little seatbelt of muscles between that belly button and that pubic bone. There's a little tightening going on right between those two hip bones in the front of the body. Let's take a big breath in, reach those arms up. And on the exhale, we'll take the arms down. Keep that belly drawn in, arms come up and overhead, big breath in. We can keep those arms in a Y shape, and let's keep that abdominal area nice and active as we take some tall side bends to each side. The lower half of the body, anything from those hip bones and below, are staying nice and still as we move from up above that navel. Let's take it side to side. Let's take those arms to the ceiling. We'll bring them out to the sides, down by the body, and let's bring our feet in toward each other. Feet are now going to be parallel facing that screen, hip width apart with those heels. Each heel is in line with one of your sit bones. We're going to settle our weight in right over the front of our ankle joints now versus back by our heels where they were when we were standing with those feet a bit apart. Soften up your knees a touch and let's take our hands right to our midsection. Fingertips, the index finger and the middle finger are going to be making a little diamond around that navel, and the other fingers kind of fall into place wherever they feel comfortable. Let's shift our weight toward our toes and toward our heels, keeping the toes pressed into the floor and keeping those heels pressed into the floor. Feel a little bit of muscle activation underneath the heels of your hands as your core works to help you stay upright against gravity. Let's take it forward and back one more time. We'll come right back over the front of those ankle joints. And now let's shift our weight from foot to foot. Press the floor away with those feet. We can transfer our fingertips to the front of the waistline and our thumbs to the back of the waistline. Press in, press the fingers toward the thumb and feel those muscles kicking in as you move side to side. Let's make some little circles around that base of support now. Forward toward the toes, backward toward the heels, little side to side in between. Let's circle the other way. Feel those muscles change as we change the orientation. One more circle. We'll bring the weight right back over the front of the ankle joints. Now let's lift our toes up. Big toes and pinky toes lift from the floor. The balls of the feet stay on the mat, and those arches are going to lift up just slightly. Let's spread those toes apart, and we'll drop them down one at a time, starting with those pinkies. We're warming up all those little muscles that are intrinsic to the foot. They start and finish within the confines of those feet. Tap those toes down for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's soften up our knees, and we're going to stick that tailbone back behind us now. We're moving our hands right to the folds in the hips. Keeping the big toes and those pinky toes on the floor. Tip those hips back, until you feel a little bit of work through those glutes. With those hands there, if you need to use them to monitor, we're going to shift our weight from foot to foot. Wake up those glutes just like we woke up our core muscles, just changing our orientation, changing our weight shifting. Make those muscles work against gravity without having to think about contracting them. Feel them poke into your hands as we shift side to side. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Let's come right back over those ankles again. We'll stand up tall and let's make a quarter turn now. So we're moving lengthwise on our mat and we can step toward the back edges. Feet are again shoulder width apart. Toes can be pointed forward or slightly out to the sides. We'll take those hands again right to the fold in the hips and let's tip that trunk forward to the first point of resistance behind those thighs. Let's wiggle those knees a bit. We can straighten and bend just a touch, lengthening out from the back of the knee all the way to those sit bones. Bend and straighten, wiggle the knees for 3, 2, and 1. Let's take our hands and reach them down toward the mat. They're hanging vertically. We can sway them a little bit, make sure they're nice and relaxed as we draw our bellies in toward our spines. And let's row. Squeeze the blades, squeeze those elbows in by your trunk, release them to the floor. Again, row, squeeze, and release. Squeeze and release. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Take a big breath in with those elbows bent, and then we're going to press them straight. Release the hands toward the floor. Press the elbows straight. Let's do those little triceps presses here. Getting those backs of the arms working. Get them warmed up for what they have to do for us when we're on hands and knees later on in the class. Press for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Hold those elbows straight. Take a big breath in, squeezing the blades together. As we exhale, we're going to bring our hands down to the floor. Bend the knees as much as you need to walk that body forward and to make our way down to all fours. If you need more padding, you're welcome to double that mat over. Let's move through some cats and cows, getting that pelvic mobility going. Draw that breastbone up and away from the floor, belly toward the ceiling, and then release, curve it the other direction. Breastbone forward, tailbone to the ceiling. Curl to cat, release to cow. One more time, curl to cat, release to cow. Take it back to neutral with the back of the head, the middle back, and that tailbone lined up. And we'll wag our tails side to side. Shoulders stay still, and the hips fold to either shoulder. Wag for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take them right back to neutral. Bring those feet together, the knees apart, and let's drop that bottom back toward the heels as we slide our hands toward the front of our mat. You're welcome to bend the elbows to take strain off of those shoulders. I want you to see if you can open up those arms for a nice side of the body stretch. You might feel some pulling in those armpits. Decide what's working for you. If it's too much, bend those elbows. Put some slack back in the system. We're going to drop that forehead to the floor, taking a big breath in. As we exhale, drop that forehead to the floor. You'll feel some stretch through the back of the rib cage. Again, big breath in. Breathing out, let's bring the forearms down if they're not already there. Let's shift our weight over the forearms, and we're going to go ahead and turn our way onto our backs. We'll lie down on that mat with the back of the head, the middle back between those shoulder blades, and that sacrum, that triangular shaped bone right at the base of your lumbar spine, resting on the floor. Let's inch our feet a little bit closer to our sit bones. Knees are fairly bent. Again, you decide if you need to take them a little bit farther away from the buttocks. That's okay for comfort. We're going to widen the collarbones away from that breastbone, press the backs of the shoulders into the floor, and feel a nice stretch as the chest opens up. Let's take a big breath in, and exhaling, we'll draw the belly toward the spine, tighten up those seatbelt muscles again. Let's raise our arms to the ceiling, and as we exhale, let's bring those arms back overhead, pressing that middle back into the floor. Inhale, arms to the ceiling, exhale, arcing them forward toward the mat. Let's take those arms back and forth in a nice little arc, finding the range of motion that you can comfortably move through. We might get a stretch in the armpit. We might get a little gentle pull, even all the way to those elbows, depending on what structures are getting a little bit mobile as we go through. You might feel a stretch down the sides of the trunk. One more time, arc those arms back overhead, and we'll arc them up to the ceiling and leave them there. This time, breathing in. And exhaling, let's draw the navel toward the spine, nod that chin toward your neck, and drop that breastbone toward the floor. Breathing in again, let's reach our shoulder blades to the ceiling and drop them toward the mat. Inhale, reach the blades to the ceiling. Exhale, drop them to the floor. We're moving from those shoulder blades, keeping the rest of the body as still as we can. Lift the blades up and down for 4, for 3. Last 2. Last one. We're going to drop the blades to the floor, and let's keep our bellies drawn down as we bring one knee up to 90 degrees, shin parallel to the ceiling, and we can bring the other one up to meet it in tabletop. Feel free to drop a foot down as a kickstand if you do need more supports. We're going to arc our arms forward toward the floor, pausing those hands just a few inches above the mat. And let's pat those hands up and down. We're going to start our 100 breaths. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Keep that pattern going. My cadence is a suggestion for you. I'm finding that this pattern is the easiest for me to keep a regular breath. You are welcome to go a little faster or a little slower as works for you. To progress, we could straighten those knees a bit, bringing them up toward the ceiling, bringing those feet toward the light fixtures. We might nod the chin and lift that upper body up. Again, I'll leave that up to you. Breathing it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lengthen those feet forward for a greater challenge if you'd like. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 3 more deep breaths here. Out. Last 2. Exhale. Last breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause those arms where they are. Pull those knees back to 90-degree tabletop, shins parallel to the ceiling. And if that upper body's been lifted, we're going to lower it down to the mat. Let's take those hands down to the floor, a little bit farther away from the body, and we're going to press those shoulder blades down to the mat. Let's picture that clock face on our trunk and pelvis. 12 o'clock is by that breastbone, 6 by the pubic bone. 3 and 9 are on either side. We're going to tuck that pelvis gently toward 12, shortening that pubic bone toward our breastbone. That's going to let us dial in those lower abdominals just a touch more. Hold here. Maybe we pull those knees a little closer to our chest to take a little bit of pressure off of that core. Keeping the knee farthest from the screen, right where it is, we're going to take an exhale and press that opposite foot forward toward the wall. Inhale back to tabletop. Keep those arms pressed into the floor. Exhale, press that other leg forward. Inhale to tabletop, exhale and press. Inhale to tabletop, exhale and press. Let's speed it up and repeat. Here's 4. Exhale, press for 3. Press it for 2. Press it for 1. We're going to pull that knee closest to the screen into the chest. Give it a hug with your arms. And we're going to lengthen that opposite leg all the way back down to the mat. Let it rest there. Tighten up the front of that straight leg thigh. And let's pull that bent knee gently across the body, rocking into that glute and all those little short rotating muscles. Let's take it right back to the middle. Keep a hold of that bent knee. We're going to hover our straight leg up off the mat. Keep everything else nice and still as we take that leg side to side. Draw that horizontal line on the wall in front of you. Twice more. Last one. Stretch that leg forward. Now, if you'd like to nod the chin and lift the upper body, you're welcome to do so. We're going to make some circles on the wall in front of us with that straight leg. Little circles moving out of that hip joint. Let's switch it and go the other way. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that straight leg hovered. We're going to take the upper body down if it's been lifted. Keep that belly dialed in as we switch our legs. That other knee comes into the chest. Give it a hug with your hands. Now we're going to extend that opposite leg forward. Let's lower it down to the mat. Quad stays nice and active, and we'll pull that bent knee across the body. Opening up into that hip outer area as we breathe in and out. Let's take it right back to the middle. We'll keep a hold of that thigh. Draw the belly down, nod that chin, and we'll hover our supporting leg above the floor. Let's take it side to side, out and away from midline, and then back to the center. Twice more here. Exhale away, inhale center, reach that leg forward. We can nod the chin, curl the upper body if you'd like, and we'll circle that leg, reaching the toes to the wall for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Switch it and go the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's draw that hovered leg to the floor. Bring the upper body down if it's been lifted, and we can take our other leg and extend it up toward the ceiling, flexing and pointing into a hamstring stretch. Find the position where you feel that hamstring stretch, but you're not fighting your quads. If that means bending the knee a little bit, that's perfectly fine. Point those toes to the ceiling, draw the belly in, and use those abdominals to float that straight leg off the floor and to control it down to the mat. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Twice more. Lift that heel. Stretch it down. One last time, lift the heel, lower it to the mat, and we'll take our arms to the ceiling. Feel free again to bend that knee if you need to. Let's take that lifted leg side to side in the range where you can keep that pelvis nice and still. Feel free to dial that motion in with some small side stretches. Feel free to add to it, taking that leg a little farther to either side as you get more comfortable with that stability. Let's move to circles. Again, small circles for starters, maybe extending that range as you dial in that stability. Pause at the top, breathing in. Exhaling, we'll circle the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Leave that lifted leg where it is. We'll take our hands forward behind that thigh. Let's roll our shoulders back and down, and we'll switch our legs. Bring that other leg up to the ceiling. Stretch the one we just stretched all the way down to the mat, and we'll flex and point. Notice that each side might be quite different from each other. There could be various reasons for that. Sometimes we just have some asymmetries based on what leg we prefer to use. Let's point those toes, keep that belly drawn in, and we'll hover our supporting leg up off the mat. Use the belly to control it down to the floor. Lift and lower. Keep it going. Lift and lower for 3, for 2, and for 1. Stretch that leg down, arms float to the ceiling. As we drop our blades and drop that belly, let's take that lifted leg side to side. Again, starting small and extending that range as we dial in those stability muscles. Let's move to circles. Reach those toes through your rafters. Twice more this direction. Pause those toes at the top, breathing in, and we'll exhale, circling the other way. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's hang on behind that thigh. Roll those shoulders back and down. You're welcome to nod that chin and or lift the head. We'll move to our single straight leg stretches. Other leg comes up. Hang on behind it as we lower the other leg toward the mat. Let's roll through at your own pace. Keep that belly drawn down. Keep that trunk as still as you can. We'll switch the legs for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Let's pull those knees to tabletop. Give those hands a little sling behind the thighs. And we'll bring that upper body down if it's been lifted. Pull those knees into the chest, bringing them slightly away from our bodies. And we'll rock side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take them right back to the middle. Bring those knees together as we float those legs to tabletop, this time holding onto those knees for a little support. Let's draw the belly down, bring the arms down by the sides, and let's straighten out those knees, bringing our toes toward the ceiling. As always, find that point of first resistance behind the thighs. I'm up in an L shape with my legs up and the trunk resting on the mat. It's completely fine to have a little bend in those knees. We're going to take a big breath in here. And as we exhale, open those feet away from each other. Lengthen through those inner thighs, making a nice V with those legs. The goal is to get those feet pointed toward opposite top corners of your room. Inhale to the ceiling, bring them together. Exhale, open to that V. Inhale together, open. Inhale and open. Take them back to the center, and we're going to rotate those hips, moving those legs in circles. Reach those toes up to the ceiling. Twice more. Last time, pause at the top, breathe it in. Exhaling, we'll circle the other way. Here's 4. Circle for 3. Final 2. And 1. Let's bend to tabletop, float those arms to the ceiling, and drop those blades to the mat. Big breath in. As we exhale, let's take that arm closest to the screen, back behind the body, and stretch the other one forward. Hand and foot are reaching as far away from each other as they can be. Reach through the center and switch it up. Keep rolling through here at your own speed, pulling and pressing, keeping the belly down, those tailbones in a nice stable position. and reaching through our diagonals. Switch for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's pull back to tabletop. Give those knees a hug into the chest. Release everything as we rock that body side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take it right back to the middle. We're going to bring our heels down to the mat. And to prepare for bridging, we're going to keep our feet parallel to each other. Line the heels up with your sit bones, and let's press our hands down into the floor. Knees are a little bit apart from each other. Wiggle around a little bit if you need to get yourself a little more comfortable. Once those knees face the ceiling again, we'll take a big breath in and exhale, drawing the belly back toward the spine. Press through your heels, squeeze those glutes, lift them up to that first point of resistance, whether it's thigh stretch in front, whether it's those glutes not being able to contract anymore, or whether you feel your back just stop moving. You don't want to feel pain in your back. If you feel pain or strain, drop those hips a little closer to the floor. We could squeeze our blades together slightly and press our hands down for a little more support. And we're going to hold here, thinking about stretching our knees toward the wall in front of us. Breathe in at the top. Exhale, maintain that thigh length. Keep those knees reaching forward as we bring our trunks down to the mat. We're going to reach it up, lower down at your own pace. Press through the heels. If you tend to cramp in your hamstrings, feel free to lift your toes up off the floor. We're almost pressing down and slightly forward through our feet as we lift those glutes. Take it up and down for 4, 3, final 2, and 1. Hold that bridge up at the top. Keep those hips right where they are. We're going to go up and down on our toes. Lift and lower those heels. Up and down. Keep it going. Keep those hips lifted. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Press the heels down. Big breath in. Exhale, bridging down. Release those glutes at the bottom. We're going to rock our knees toward the screen and away. Keep those shoulder blades nice and pressed into the floor. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's take those knees back to the ceiling. We'll breathe it in again. Exhale, belly to spine. Press up into bridge. And let's rotate through those hips. We're going to take one down toward the mat. Lift it back up and switch. Other hip comes down. Lift them level, switch it up. Keep that moving at your own pace. If you want to challenge those glutes, taking away the arm assistance, you're welcome to take those arms up to the ceiling. We're still pressing those shoulder blades into the floor. This moves the focus almost solely to those hips. Take it side to side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips to the ceiling. Breathe it in. Exhale, bridge it down. Again, release at the bottom. Arc those arms down to the mat, and we'll rock our knees side to side. Big breaths in and big breaths out. Again, big breath in. Exhale. Let's take them right back to the middle. Breathing in again. Exhale, belly to spine. Press up into bridge and hold. Hold. Take that knee closest to the screen. Open it up to the side. Take it back to the center and switch to the other side. Open and close those knees, alternating side to side. Here's 8, 7, 6. Keep those hips lifted. 5. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come together. Pulse the hips to the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. Exhale, bridge it down. Release those glutes at the bottom. We'll rock those knees side to side. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Let's take them back to the middle. We're going to finish our bridging series with 5 single leg bridges. We have a couple of options here. We could start with a knee at tabletop and take ourselves up and down on the other side. If you want a little more stability and a little assist from that other leg, we can cross our ankle on that free leg over to the supporting knee. Hold it there. Take a big breath in. Draw the belly down. We'll exhale and press through that supporting heel, lifting the hips up and down for a 5. For a 4. Feel free to uncross that leg if you want to test it out. Final 2. And 1. As that bottom comes down, we'll switch our legs. Press that other foot down, tabletop or crossed leg with the other foot. Breathe it in again, belly to spine. And as we exhale, we'll press through that supporting heel for 5, for 4, for 3. Lift the toes if you're cramping. Last one. Press that heel down, press that bottom down. Keep that foot crossed. Cross it if it's not there, and we'll draw into our figure 4 stretch. Let's rock the body, oscillate side to side a little bit. Find the position where you feel a nice stretch through those rotators. Take a big breath in, and exhaling, we'll unwind, cross that other leg over, pull up into that figure 4 again, and we'll rock away from that crossed over leg. Rock it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it back to the middle, unwind, pulling those knees into the chest. We're going to take our feet down to the mat, and let's turn ourselves over to hands and knees. All right. Once we're there, again, decide if you need a little more padding and give yourself a little more by doubling that mat over. We're going to line the knees up under the hips, line up the wrists under those shoulders, and let's move through a few cats and cows, just recalibrating up in this hands and knees position. Take it back to neutral with the belly drawn toward the spine. Our head, our middle back, and our pelvis should be in line with each other. Let's squeeze the shoulder blades together and then press them forward. Squeeze them behind the back, press them forward. We want to try to keep those elbows at the same angle, whether the blades are squeezed or unsqueezed, pressing toward the mat. It's okay if they're bent, they just are going to stay bent the whole time. Squeeze and press. We can stay here or we can move to single arm. One hand comes to the side, shoulders stay square, squeeze and press through the other arm for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take our other hand down, switch them up, hand to the thigh, squeeze and press through that weight bearing side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take that hand down. We're going to thread the needle. Take that arm closest to the screen, out to the side. Look over that shoulder. See if you can take your breastbone toward the screen. As we exhale, we're going to reach that other arm through between your hand and your knee to that opposite wall. Repeat. Arm comes up and out. Exhale, thread it through. Twice more. Arm comes up and out. Exhale, thread. One final time on this side. Arm comes up and out. Thread it through. Take that hand back down to the floor. We'll breathe it in. And on the exhale, that opposite arm comes away from the body. Follow it with your head. Reach it through. Exhale. Inhale, arm comes up and out. Exhale, thread it through. Look toward that screen. Twice more. Arm comes up and out. Exhale and thread. One final time. Arm comes up and out. Exhale and thread. Let's take it back up to hands and knees. Wag that tail side to side as we reset those shoulders, pressing them down toward the mat. All right, let's take that leg closest to the screen, stretch it back behind the body. Opposite arm stretches out in front. Repeat on the other side. We're going to switch at your own speed. A big goal here is to try to keep that belly button and that breastbone and both shoulders facing the floor in front of you. So we're lifting from those legs, but not allowing our trunks to rotate. Let's pause in one diagonal. Maybe we switch our hands. Take that lifted hand down, shift the weight. Let's come up onto our other fingertips. And then maybe that arm reaches. Keep the leg where it is. Shift the hand. Shift and reach. Shift and reach. Let's go once more. Let's take ourselves back to our diagonal. We'll take our hand down, that knee down, and switch it up. We'll reset belly to spine. Opposite leg comes back. Reach the other hand forward. Find your balance point. Switch them up. Hand comes down. Shift the weight. It's okay if you just come up onto the fingertips on that other arm. The reach is the progression. Legs stay still. Switch the arms. Switch and reach. Keep it moving again at a pace that's working for you. Good. When we're in our opposite arm and leg reach now, we'll hold here for a big breath in. Exhale, hand down. Exhale, knees come down. Cat and cow, curl and release. One more time, curl that belly to the ceiling, look toward those thighs. Release to cow. Take it back to neutral with the belly and spine drawn toward each other. Let's tap one hand to the opposite shoulder and switch it up. Repeat at your own pace. You should feel your shoulder blade muscles. You might feel your core muscles doing some work here. Let's keep rolling through, alternating those arms. If you want to make it more challenging, walk your hands forward, open up the front of the hips toward the floor. We can take those knees a little farther apart from each other. We're moving into a modified plank. If you still want to take it further, come up into a full plank. Tighten up those thighs, switch it side to side. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take our knees down. Feet come together, knees come apart. Let's take that bottom down toward the heels and walk the hands toward the front of the mat, dropping that forehead down to the floor. Let's take a big breath in. Exhale. Let's walk our hands toward that screen. Pause hand over hand, taking a big breath in. Breathing out, let's walk them the other direction. Again, take a big breath in. Exhaling, we'll walk our hands toward the front of the mat and bend those elbows, dropping the forearms to the mat. Let's shift our weight up. Upper arms are vertical. The weight is right over those forearms. We're going to bring our knees in so our shins are parallel to each other. And let's press through those forearms. Press those shoulder blades down to the floor and draw the belly in toward the spine. Let's pick up one knee. Keep it bent, press it to the ceiling, swing it to the floor. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Hold it up there. Straighten and bend that knee. Here's 4. Here's 3. Heel to the buttock. Last 2. Last 1. Flex that foot. Kick the heel to the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float that knee down. Switch it up. Shift the weight toward that side we just used. Opposite knee is going to come up. Control it down. Keep it moving. Try to keep that knee as close to 90 as you can. We're going to press it up and hold. Straighten and bend that knee. Keep that thigh as still as you can. Here's 4, 3. Press those shoulders to the floor. And 1. Flex the foot, pulse to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's float that knee down. Again, feet come together, knees come apart. We'll press that bottom down and walk the hands forward. Hold it there. Let's shift forward toward the forearms, shift the weight over the forearms, and we're going to tuck our legs right back behind the body, rest on those upper thighs. Blades are pressed forward, and that belly is drawn up toward the spine. We're going to squeeze our blades together and then press them toward the floor. Again, squeeze them together, press, squeeze and press, twice more. One more time, squeeze and press and hold for 3, for 2, and for 1. Keep that belly tight as we bring ourselves up to hands and knees for cat and cow. Curl and release. One more time, curl and release. Take it back to neutral, wag that tail side to side, hip to shoulder. Coming right back to the middle. We're going to bring ourselves up to a tall kneel, and let's turn and face our screen. All right, if you do need a little more padding, fold that mat up, give your knees a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a padding, a little bit of cushion. We're going to come up nice and tall. I want you to squeeze your glutes if you can. Gently press your hips forward. We should feel a little bit of an opening through those thighs. And let's take our arms up to the ceiling and drop the blades down. We're going to hold them there. Keeping the belly drawn in, let's take a little side sway up and over toward each of those top corners of the room. Good. Keep it going. One more time to each. Take it side to side. Let's bring those arms up to the ceiling. We're going to bring the hands forward to shoulder height, and let's lean back, lengthening through those quads. We should feel some muscles working there. If you feel strain on your knees, come up a little taller. Hold for a big breath. As we exhale, we're going to open an arm to the side, follow it with that head. Inhale it back to the center, exhale and switch. Again, inhale center, exhale and open. Inhale and center, exhale and open. Take them right back to the middle. We'll come up nice and tall. Float those hands back to the floor. toward the floor. Flip the palms forward toward the screen, and let's squeeze the blades, pulsing the hands back to the wall behind us. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms come down. We're going to take our hands to our hips, and let's extend a leg out to the side, taking it forward, a little bit forward of the hip if you feel like you're going to start to cramp in that hip muscle on the side. We're going to drop into an inner thigh stretch and take those arms out away from the body. Breathe it in. Exhale, side bend toward that bent leg, reaching the arm up and over. We'll take it nice and tall and over to the other side. Twice more. Side bend and reach. Reverse that side bend. One more time. Side bend, reach. We're going to hold if we can. Pulse that foot to the ceiling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up nice and tall. Our hands come right to our hips. Let's hinge forward into that inner thigh stretch. And we'll come up tall. One more time. Hinge forward. And let's take it up tall. Keeping those hands on the hips or bringing them down to the floor if you need a little more stability. We'll switch to our other side. Lengthen that leg out. We can take, again, that foot forward or in line with the knee. We're going to drop into that inner thigh stretch. Take a big breath in. Arms come out to the side, and we'll take a side bend toward that bent knee. Inhale, exhale, and reverse. Let's take it up and over, stretching that leg away from the hand. And we'll reverse. Let's take it to the side, hold it there. Pulse that foot up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll come up nice and tall. Hands come right back to the hips as we take an inhale. And exhale, hinge that body forward. Inhale up tall. One more time, hinge it forward. Inhale up tall. And let's take ourselves down to the mat. We're going to rest on one side. Line the heels up with those sit bones. We're going to press our top hand into the mat and lift just our knees up and down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down. Lift those feet and hold them there. And we'll take that top knee up and down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down. Straighten the bottom leg out. Keep that top foot down, and we'll bring that knee up and down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that foot up off of the bottom leg. Take that leg up and down. Fire hydrant lifts for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten out that top leg. And we're going to swing it forward and back. Repeat. Don't be afraid to use that top hand to keep that trunk nice and stable. Leg comes back. We're going to touch it down. Lift it up. Lower and lift. Try to touch the toes down behind the bottom leg. One more time. Lift and hold. Circle forward for 4, 3, 2. Reverse. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bottom leg comes up. Take them down and up together for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe it in. Exhale down. Bend those knees up. Pat out your hip. All right, let's take ourselves up and over to the other side. We are in the home stretch. Let's just even each other out, even those legs out. Rest on that bottom arm. Knees are bent. Top hand presses into the floor. Knees come up and down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, feet lift. Again, take that top knee up and down here. 6, 5, keep that belly lifted. 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, straighten out that bottom leg. Top toes rest on that bottom knee. Take that knee up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift that foot up. Fire hydrant lifts for 6, for 5, for 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Straighten that top leg out. Swing it forward. Press it back. Try to keep that trunk as still as you can. Keep that motion in the hip. Twice more. Swing it forward. And press. swing and press. Touch those toes down and lift. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Circle forward for 4, 3, 2. Reverse. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bottom leg comes up to meet the top leg. Let's take them down and up. Last 6, 5, 4, 3. Pull with that inner thigh. Hold them up there, breathing in. Exhale them down. Bend up those knees. Pat that hip out. Nice job. Let's roll to our backs. We're going to bend those knees up. Give them a little hug into the chest. As we draw those knees in, we can pull them away from the center of the body if that feels better. We can roll those shoulders back and down in circles. Slow that breathing down. And we're going to look toward our screen. Look away. Take it back to the middle. We'll bring one foot down to the mat, cross that opposite ankle over. We could lift up into figure 4. Hold there for a breath. And exhale. Keep a hold of that bent in knee. We're going to slide the other leg out along the mat. Let's draw that bent knee across the body just a touch. You can wiggle into that hip just a touch. Let's come back to the middle. Switch it up. Let's cross that opposite ankle over to the knee. Lift into our figure 4 stretch and take a big breath in. Breathe it out. Keep a hold of that bent in knee. Slide the other leg out along the mat. And we'll draw that bent in knee across the body. Give it a little wiggle. Good. Take it back to the middle. Let's take that foot to the floor. Bend the other one up. And let's turn ourselves to hands and knees. We're going to reset that core in preparation for standing and concluding with some balancing. Let's draw the belly toward the spine and then reverse that curve. Curl to cat and release to cow. Take it back to neutral. We'll turn those toes under. Let's bring ourselves back up to flat foot standing. Once the weight's right over the front of those ankle joints, we can stand up nice and tall. Shake out those legs. All right. Turning and facing our screen, if you want to find something stable to hold on to, go ahead and do so. We're going to start with our feet hip width apart. Lift those toes up. Let those arches lift along with you. We're going to spread the toes apart and take them down one at a time. Pinky toe first, down to that big toe. And let's shift our weight toward the toes, toward the heels, forward and back. Let's take it right back to the center. Keep those hands where they're comfortable, and we're going to stand heel to toe. Find that narrow base of support. Absolutely find something to hold on to if you need it. We can look side to side. Let's look to the center. Shift to that back leg. Find that single leg balance point. We can take our hands again wherever we're most comfortable having them. Shift forward. Maybe we take it up and down on our toes. Maybe we barely unweight the heel. Maybe we just weight shift. Good. All right, let's pause in that single leg balance. Big breath in. Switch it as we exhale. Shake out that standing leg. We'll come to heel toe with that leg we just stood on in front of the other one. Again, we find that balance point. Add the head turn if you'd like. Let's turn back to the center. Shift up into single leg balance on that back leg. And let's take our weight toward the ball of the foot. We'll take it up and down. Try to keep that big toe pressed into the floor. And try to keep the weight forward as that heel comes down. Last 3, 2, 1. Pause in single leg balance. Big breath in. Exhale. Feet come down. Shake everything out. Awesome job. We'll take those feet apart from each other a little wider. Let's conclude similarly to how we started. We'll roll those shoulders back and down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in, arms come up and overhead. Let's take our feet and our palms together and we'll exhale into our center. Happy Friday, everybody.